Okay, everybody, this is mooneydashcam. Please subscribe if you enjoy these videos. Let's get into it. Okay, we are in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn, and I have to make a U-turn here. Let's see if my truck can do it. Oh, I got this, no problem. The problem is the traffic. Don't want to pull out in front of this next car. That would have been a bad day. Okay, so we're in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn, and we're going to be talking about the Brighton Beach Butcher, also known as Mad Max. The guy's name is Maksim Gelman. First name Maksim. I'm assuming I'm saying it correctly. Kill me if I'm not. He's a 23-year-old, and we're going to be going to where he started his 28-hour killing spree. Alright, we're just a couple blocks away here. We're going to be going on the beginning of the journey of the night that he did this. The day spanned from one day to 5 a.m. to the next day, 9:15 a.m. So, February 11th, 2011. He is arguing with his mother over being able to use the family car, the family Lexus, which was technically the stepfather's Lexus. They were going back and forth, and then the stepfather wakes up and Maksim kills him. Stabs him with a kitchen knife a bunch of times. The kitchen knife breaks. He switches over to a carving fork, which I'll add a picture of just in case you don't know what it looks like. Ends up stabbing the stepfather 55 times as the mother stands there in horror. Then he didn't hurt the mother at all. Jumps into his car, into the stepfather's car, the Lexus, that he was arguing about using. 1 second, we are pulling up here to the initial home where this started. It's you can't quite see it, but right behind this, right here, this first place is where it was initially started. I'm gonna pull over here. I'll get you a nice little look. So here is where it all began. 2830 East 27th Street. This is where it started, right here. And then he hops off into the Lexus. There's the truck. Hops off into his stepfather's Lexus, zooms down the road, hitting and taking out the leg, breaking the leg of a crossing guard. All right, back to the truck. Okay, off to the next location where he committed his next murder. All right, so like I said, speeds off, hits a crossing guard, breaks their leg. In total, in this whole 28 hours, he killed 4 and wounded 5. So that was one of the wounded. He already killed the stepfather. Okay. Now he heads off. His whole point now was that he knew he was going to get caught, so he's going to go kill everyone, all the rats, in his quote, that wronged him. So he wanted to get that cleared up before he went to jail. So his next stop is the place that we're going to next. Which is was an ex-girlfriend. He kind of stalked her, from what I understand. While he was on the run, he actually had a shrine of her. There was in a Long Island Railroad little cinder block shack type thing where a lot of people went to do drugs and hang out and kind of sleep the night, maybe if they didn't have a spot to sleep. He spray painted hearts in red and her name while he was on the run. So he had a little bit of a, not a little bit of an obsession. If you go and kill somebody, I believe that's one of the highest forms of obsession. But, so he goes to the house of this girl, Yelena, and she wasn't there. So he goes in and kills the mother, okay? And then was gonna wait, shoot around a little bit longer. He didn't want to stay in one spot for too long. He thought he'd get caught. So he shoots around a little bit longer, comes back, has his knife hiding in his sleeve. The girl, Yelena, who's only 20 at the time, already saw her mother dead and called 911. So she saw him and probably assumed the worst. He gets out of the car and chases her down and stabs her 11 times, killing her. Then after that, after stabbing her 11 times, he rams a car with his stepfather's car, gets out, stabs the driver of the car that he hit 3 times. The guy lives, and then he steals that guy's car. So now he's murdered 3 people, wounded 2. Now, can you imagine the mindset on this dude while he's doing all this? He claimed that he was, that he's not mentally right, and he even said, watch this, I'll beat this case, I'll be in a mental house for a couple years, I'll be back on the street again. He thought he was smarter than everyone, that type of person. He also, after he was caught from jail, he did an interview and claimed that he killed 6 people before any of this. When he was 18, he said that he hit 2 people in his car, then thought about maybe they would be witnesses to give a description of the car, so he backed back up and killed them. He said this happened, he mentioned the neighborhood this happened in, and people looked back, and there was a mother and daughter that were killed in that neighborhood in 2006, and no one was ever arrested for it, so they assumed that may have been whoa, I went through red. You went through a red too, cyclist. Okay, we're turning here. So yeah, they believe that may have been who he killed, but it's kind of unclear. They just kind of put that together. How come every house I pull up to, there's people outside? This right here, this yellow building, is 2466 East 24th Street, where the mother and daughter, Yelena, were killed. So I'm assuming on this block is where Maksim pulled up and chased her either down this way or down this way and stabbed her. It's terrible. Then he races down this road and gets into an accident and stabs the driver that he crashed into and stole that guy's car. Alright, back to the truck. Okay, this is when it starts to get wild, as if it wasn't wild enough. So, he steals the guy's car that he stabs, then he runs down, which he claims is an accident, but I mean, what are we talking about here? A 62-year-old pedestrian who later died from the injuries, so that's kill number 4. Then he decides to hail a cab. When that guy pulls over for him, he stabs that cab driver in the throat. He lived. That's an injury right there. Goes up to another car with a couple inside and starts stabbing the driver. Stabs the driver in his hand 3 times and steals the car from them. Takes that car to a train station, Penn Station, gets on a train, ends up at Lincoln Station, stabs a ticket seller at Lincoln Station, doesn't kill him. Then inside the train tries to get to a train conductor, like into the motor room, by saying he was a police officer. There were actually police officers inside that room that knew who he was, thought he had a gun. They claimed that they thought he had a gun, so they didn't come out. Then he decides to grab a random guy named Joseph Lozito, apparently the wrong guy to grab, to hold him hostage to get to the police. Maksim says he regrets doing that and wishes that he stabbed the police instead of this man. Stabs this guy Lozito in the face, neck, and head. The guy's bleeding profusely. I remember hearing this story. The cops don't come out of the motor room until this guy Lozito, after getting stabbed up, holds this guy down and pins him down. The cops finally come out. I believe he almost dies. He passes out there and almost dies. Then he gets arrested 9:15 a.m. on Saturday. So it starts at 5 a.m. Wow, bad time to cross the road. And ends the next day at 9:15 a.m. He ends up getting arrested in the Times Square subway station, around like the 40th Street or 7th Avenue exits over there. Oh, like I said before, he bragged about killing more people. So not only the people that he ran over, he claimed he was a big drug dealer also, made hundreds of thousands of dollars, had a condo in, I believe, Bath Beach and Florida, which that's where actually some of the friction came between him and his stepfather, because the stepfather tried to take the condos, from what I read. And he said he killed 2 drug dealers that didn't take him seriously in the Bronx, and that he killed another 2 drug dealers in East New York. So that's the 6 kind of unconfirmed kills that he bragged about, weirdly. And yeah, his weapons of choice were an 8-inch chef's knife and a carving fork. I believe I mentioned that. The Supreme Court justice that sentenced him told him that he was a violent sociopath, and he was sentenced to 200 years to life. He also claimed that his father and grandfather were gangsters, and he bragged about that in court, up and down. He was terrible in the courtroom. He got into screaming matches with the victims' families, smiled in court, didn't seem like he cared at all. And I believe that's pretty much everything I have to tell you about this sicko murderer, Maksim Gelman. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. And that's it. I'll see you in the next one.